The first day of full contact was supposed to be the moment this team came alive. But by the end of practice, there were bruises, a concussion, and a rising panic inside Eagles camp. When the pads finally came on at Philadelphia Eagles training camp, everything changed. No more walkthroughs. No more soft reps. This was real. This was violent. This was football the way it's supposed to be played in Philadelphia, tough, physical, and emotionally charged. And it didn't take long for the intensity to boil over. Right out of the gate, the defense took control, bodies collided, tempers flared. Rookie cornerback Jade Campbell, who's been climbing up the depth chart all offseason, made his presence known with a series of aggressive plays that rattled the offense. You could feel the shift, the energy, the urgency. This wasn't just another padded practice. This was a statement. But with that statement came a heavy price. By the time the sun dipped over the Novacare complex, the Eagles were dealing with more than just bruised egos. Injuries hit hard. Rookie safety Drew Makuba was held out again with a shoulder issue. Wide receiver Danny Gray remained sidelined. And then came the shocker, a sudden concussion for Nolan Smith, suffered during what was supposed to be a light session the day before. No one even saw the hit that caused it. He walked off fine. Now he's in protocol. It's a reminder, in this game, danger doesn't wait for full speed. And just when it felt like things might calm down, Terrence Marshall Jr., who had been turning heads all camp, went down hard during 11-on-11s. A non-contact leg injury. Trainers swarmed. Silence spread across the field. He was helped off, no pressure on his leg, no update yet. Just concern. There was one more quiet reminder from the coaching staff today. Mental reps matter. But physical reps? They're everything. And right now, too many Eagles are missing them. This was supposed to be the start of something fierce. Instead, it felt like a warning. The Eagles might be built for war this season, but war comes with casualties. And this team? They're already limping into week 2 of camp. If you're riding with this team through the chaos, let us know. What's your biggest concern right now? Injuries, the quarterback battle, or the offense falling behind? Sound off. Fly, Eagles, fly. The fight for dominance off the edge is turning into one of the most brutal and wide-open battles in Eagles camp. And on Tuesday, one underdog finally made some noise. Josh Uche was quiet for much of the offseason. While fans buzzed over Nolan Smith's return and Jalen Carter's progression, Uche stayed in the shadows, working with the second team. But all it took was one padded practice, one shot with the lights on to shift the conversation. It started in 11-on-11s. Uche exploded off the edge, flying around the tackle to get to Jalen Hurts for what would have been a strip sack in live action. Reporters said the whistle blew before contact, but the message was clear. Uche is officially in the race. In a room full of heavy hitters like Hassan Reddick, Nolan Smith, and even free agent addition Azeez Ojulari, Uche needed a moment like this, and he delivered. Vic Fangio had said earlier in the day that nobody had taken control of the job behind the starters. But if Uche can stack a few more days like this, he might force the coaches to take notice. But Uche wasn't the only player making noise. Jahad Campbell, the rookie linebacker out of Alabama, looked like he belonged. After struggling in pass coverage the day before, Campbell responded like a pro. He dominated the running back versus linebacker one-on-one drills, showcasing an aggressive arsenal of moves and a motor that wouldn't quit. Reporters counted all but one rep as wins for Campbell. And when the action moved to full-team drills, he didn't fade. He leveled Dallas Goedert on a short throw over the middle. It wasn't dirty, just clean, violent football. Campbell immediately helped Goedert up after the play, but the message was sent. The rookie came to compete. Later, in a run fit against Saquon Barkley, Campbell read the hole, plugged it, and shut the play down before it ever developed. The physicality, the instincts, the speed, it was all there. And for a team desperate to solidify its linebacker group, Tuesday was a glimpse of what Campbell might become. Head coach Vic Fangio said it best earlier in the day. He's making strides. Might not be visible to everyone, but they're there, and if he keeps pushing, he'll become exactly what we hope for. And then there's the cornerback carousel. For 3 straight days, Adoree Jackson had manned one of the starting outside corner spots. But on Tuesday, Kelly Ringo got his shot. It was a quiet shift, but an important one. The kind of change that tells you the coaching staff hasn't locked anything in yet. Ringo, who's had an up-and-down camp, looked more comfortable today. He played tight coverage in one-on-one drills and held his own in team settings. Jackson, to his credit, reportedly had a strong day Monday and isn't backing down either. But with preseason creeping closer, the rotation only adds more tension to an already fierce position battle. The Eagles didn't come into this camp with all the answers. But on Tuesday, a few pieces started to take shape, and the players who rose did so with pads on, under pressure, when it mattered most. This is when rosters are made, and the battle is only just beginning. There comes a moment in every rookie's journey when reality hits hard. And for Ty Robinson, that moment came the second he locked up across from Jordan Mailata. The pads were finally on. The cameras were rolling, and the so-called vanilla gorilla, who had been hyped for months during non-contact drills, suddenly found himself frozen, quite literally, by one of the biggest, strongest offensive linemen in the league. Mailata stood him up like a statue. 5 full seconds. No movement. No push. Just domination. Reporters called it his welcome to the NFL moment. And that wasn't even the worst of it, because the rest of the day? Crickets. Not a single standout rep. And yet, this isn't a failure story. It's a learning chapter. Robinson, to his credit, owned it. He faced the media with honesty. It's eye-opening, for sure, he said. Getting to line up against guys like this, it's a different speed, a different power. I'm learning every day, through my mistakes, through my failures. He wasn't making excuses. He was doing what all great rookies do, absorbing everything, asking the vets questions, and grinding through the pain. Vic Fangio acknowledged the struggle, but praised the process. He's in great shape. He's competing. This is just his first real shot. It's going to take time. The Eagles aren't panicking, and neither is Robinson. Because in the trenches, where there's no hiding, it's not about being great today, it's about building into someone who can be feared tomorrow. Meanwhile, someone else is turning heads. Josh Uch, Philadelphia's newest edge weapon, finally flashed. After flying under the radar for most of camp, he made noise in 11 on 11s. A clean sack while running with the second team, followed by a possible strip sack on Jalen Hurts with the starters. That's the kind of burst this team gambled on when they signed him in the offseason. And after a quiet start, the noise is finally here. Another rising name? Rookie linebacker Jeremiah Trotter Jr. He may not have the buzz of Jair Campbell just yet, but according to multiple reports, he's quietly stacking solid practices. While the spotlight's on Campbell, who's been physical, aggressive, and loud, Trotter's handling business in the shadows. And when preseason games hit, he may be the one we're all talking about. Even the backup quarterback battle got a spark. Dorian Thompson-Robinson, the young dual-threat QB, is currently edging out Kyle McCord in the fight for QB3. Nothing's decided yet, but DTR is flashing calm footwork, quick reads, and growing comfort. It's not a headline yet, but it's trending that way. Because this is what Eagles camp is about: players falling, rising, learning, and proving they belong. There's no faking it here. If you believe Ty Robinson will fight through the fire and come out stronger, or think Josh Uch might be this year's breakout edge rusher, drop your thoughts below and rep the birds. There was a crack of shoulder pads echoing through the practice field, and just like that, Jeremiah Trotter Jr. reminded everyone who he is. Will Shipley was sprinting toward the sideline, and just as he planted his foot, Trotter Jr. exploded downhill and sent his former Clemson teammate flying out of bounds. It wasn't dirty. It wasn't reckless. It was a message. Don't count this man out. He followed it up with a clean pass breakup in the red zone and stayed glued in coverage on Dallas Goedert, one of the league's toughest tight ends to shadow. For a guy who's been somewhat overshadowed by names like Jair Brown and Jahad Campbell in recent headlines, today was a statement. Trotter Jr. isn't just competing, he's fighting like someone who plans to win the job. And he's not the only one rising. At right guard, Tyler Steen is quietly flipping his script. He started camp slow, some even said disappointing. But today, in full pads, he flipped the switch. He was powerful at the point of attack, technically sound, and showed the kind of grit that earns respect inside the trenches. Offensive line coach Jeff Stoutland noticed. In fact, he made a point of it after practice. He played over 450 snaps last year, Stoutland said. You can see that experience showing now. He's acting like a vet, not perfect, but he's getting better. And today? Today was a big step. But while Steen and Trotter shined, the offense as a whole continued to stumble. It was a tough day for Jalen Hurts and the passing game. In 11-on-11s, the defense once again had the upper hand. Hurts dropped back, time and time again, only to find blanketed receivers or relentless pressure in his face. Reporters noted it wasn't Hurts missing open guys. It was simply nobody getting open. Routes stalled. Timing was off. And the red zone execution just wasn't clicking. On one series inside the 20, the offense ran 6 plays. They gained just 10 yards, until finally, Hurts hit Shipley over the middle for a 10-yard score. It was a bright spot, but the rhythm was missing. It didn't feel crisp. It didn't feel dangerous. In another drive starting at the 30, the first-team offense couldn't even reach the end zone. Hurts had to throw the ball away twice because nobody shook free. The final drill of the day was even worse. One of 3 passes completed. A short dump to Shipley. Everything else? Covered, blown up, swallowed. It might sound alarming, but here's the truth. It's exactly what you want to see from the defense. This was the best day of training camp so far for the defensive line. They were in Hurts' face all afternoon. The pocket collapsed repeatedly. Plays were blown dead before they even had a chance to develop. And honestly, that's exciting. Because the Eagles' offense is going to be just fine. They've got the stars. They've got the weapons. And yes, it's a new offensive coordinator. A new QB coach. First day in full pads. Timing will come. What matters is the defense is roaring. The secondary is tighter. The defensive front looks nasty. And while the offense finds its rhythm, it's clear this team is building something balanced. And when both sides start clicking, that's when the Eagles become dangerous again. Drop your thoughts below. Are you more impressed by the defense's dominance or concerned about the offense's slow start? Let's talk. The Philadelphia Heat was punishing. Sweat poured off players like rain from a storm cloud, and the energy on the field crackled with tension. But in the midst of all the chaos and fatigue, one thing remained crystal clear. Jalen Hurts never lost his cool. The Eagles' defense strung together a second straight dominant practice, pushing the offense to the brink. And Hurts? He didn't force it. He didn't get rattled. He simply took what the defense gave him, checked the ball down, and stayed turnover-free. That's high-level quarterbacking. No highlight reel bombs. No desperate scrambles. Just smart, measured leadership under fire. And Hurts made sure to show respect where it was due. After practice, he gave full credit to the defense for making life tough on him and the offense. It's been a challenge, Hurts admitted. But this is how you build a foundation through adversity. The heat, the pressure, the battles every snap. This is what defines the temperament of a real team. You could see it on the field. The defense played fast, aggressive, and confident. They stopped the run, contested every throw, and flew to the ball. And Hurts? He responded not with frustration, but with calm execution. There were no turnovers today, And in a camp setting where the defense is clearly ahead, that's a victory for the offense too. This is exactly what coaches want: competition, strain, frustration, growth. Years ago, a defensive coach at a different camp once said, "Defense needs to win early. Offense figures it out late." It stuck because when your defense is this dominant in early August, especially with question marks at linebacker and safety, you take that as a huge win. And let's not forget, Jalen Hurts is far from panicking. Even when things break down, he's making the right reads. He's protecting the football. He's leading through silence, through grit, through action. So no, there's no panic in Philly. No one's doubting the offense. The pieces are there. The stars are there. The system is coming together. But right now, this defense is stealing the show, and that might be the best news of all. Training camp rolls on. The grind continues. But in this battle of offense versus defense, one thing is certain: iron is sharpening iron in Philadelphia. Don't go anywhere. The next chapter of this team's identity is being written in sweat, silence, and defensive dominance.